What up, everyone? So, time for another monthly review. The amount of videos that I've wanted to do lately has been very much lacking. Have had pretty much no time. And you know, honestly, all the boxes, this is the month of July, all the boxes still haven't finished arriving yet, but I don't want to put it off any longer. So right now we only have 6 boxes. We're actually missing 2 of them still, one of which I don't know if it's ever going to show up. So we have a lot we have to actually talk about. One box that's missing is Lutaku. They're having some shipment issues, so who knows when it's going to come, because they still haven't shipped them out yet, and it comes from Hong Kong, so it may be, honestly, like September by the time we get July's box, and I don't want to wait that long. The other one is Comic Block, and I don't know if it's going to show up ever, because I've heard a lot of rumors that Comic Block has shut down and has actually filed for bankruptcy. So we'll talk about that a little bit and see what's going on, and also the future of these boxes in general. So I want to touch on some of those subjects, but other than that, we'll do the standard review. This month, honestly, was not a great month. I was not impressed by any of the boxes, and honestly, none of them really did that great. But we will talk about them and do the best we can. So, for anyone tuning in for the first time, hello, welcome. The point of this video is to help you find the best monthly subscription box for you. Each month it seems like there's fewer and fewer of them because they're just kind of all fading away. A lot of them are going out of business. A lot of them are just not worth the money anymore. So it's just less and less of them as time goes on. But there's still 6 that stick around, and we'll see how many continue to stick around, because I keep canceling more and more because they've just kind of slowly been tapering off. The boxes in general, the whole collection industry, is kind of on the decline. So we'll talk about that too. And as always, the winner of the contest is in the description. If you want to be in this month's contest, post a link of this video or my channel anywhere on social media, then share the link with me, and you will automatically be entered in the contest. And it takes me a long time to get boxes out, but you will get it eventually. So don't expect it right away, but eventually you will get your prize box. I still have to ship some out. Pup is pacing right now. What are you doing? Do you want to come up here? You want to come out? Jump? Oh, there you go. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, your breath smells terrible. Holy shit. Oh, puppy. Oh, doggy. Haven't seen Pup in so long, huh? Oh, Pup. Oh, Pup. Oh, you're so sleepy. You're so sleepy. You're so sleepy. Oh, doggy. Oh, doggy. Oh, doggy. Okay. So, we have our 6 boxes here. So we'll do the countdown from 6 to number 1, and I'll give a brief little description about the box, what you can expect from that company, and then you can see if that box is worth it for you to purchase. In the future, I'd like to go back to doing individual reviews to go more in depth into these, but for now, this is all I have time for, so this is the best I can do. So, let's start out with number 6. Smell? Smell it? Smell it? Look out, don't fall over. Pup. Oh my gosh. And it is the Stan Lee box. Pup smells something in there. Something he needs in that box. There's nothing in there for you. And basically, this box has always had some trouble just because it's very expensive. It's an incredibly expensive box. It's $50 plus tax and things like that. It's only bi-monthly, but it's still really expensive for a box. Now, the problem I had with this before, they actually had really good choices in the box. A lot of the selections they put in there were really good. I really liked them. The problem was none of them were exclusive, which isn't really a bad thing, but the problem with it was it wasn't quite meeting the value. And you want to get as close to double what you pay for it as you can, and that the closer you can get to, the better off you are. But it was having a lot of trouble getting that goal point because nothing was exclusive. Then I heard this month was going to be 100% exclusive for the first time, so I got excited, but then I saw the contents in here and was immediately unexcited about it. And you know, not that it's bad or anything like that, but it's just much different than I thought this box was going to be. When I heard it was the Stan Lee box, I thought it was going to be curated by Stan Lee, and that's how it kind of started out. It was all items that were curated by him. They say that. I don't know if it actually is or not. Supposedly stuff that's picked by him and curated by him, which I like, because I like all the characters that he's created. I like all the work that he's done. So that was something that interested me. Now it's kind of morphed into just stuff with Stan Lee's face on it. And I'll show you the pictures that they have in the card here. Usually we always get a t-shirt. This year we got a pillow instead of a t-shirt, which is fine. I don't mind if they switch that up, but it's just always stuff with his face on it. It's just a whole bunch of stuff with his face on there. And that's fine every once in a while, but I don't want every single box to be stuff with plastered on his face. Like, I've gotten like 5 or 6 of these now, and I have just like a pile of stuff with just his face on there. Like, I feel like a stalker at a certain point, like worshiping this guy with like t-shirts and pillows and glasses with just his face on there. It's almost like borderline creepy, like how much stuff I have with just his face. So I don't really, and I don't think other people do either, want a box every month with just more Stan Lee face on there. I want stuff that relates to him, maybe characters he's done, stuff he's picked out, but I don't want his specific face all the time. And that's what they seem to be doing. So the same thing with the bag here, just like the shirts, it's just all him. And he's a great guy and all, and I love Stan Lee, but I don't want just him. Like, I want the whole world of him. So, one thing about it was his wife recently passed away. Very sad. Many condolences go out to him. So they put stuff in there. He put a little tribute on the inside of the box, and one of the items was actually of him and his wife, which, you know, that's fine too, but I just feel like they're getting a little too much into his personal life and less into the collectible side of things. So, and I don't mean to be disrespectful in any way. I'm very sad that he lost his wife, but if I'm being perfectly honest, I have a mug with someone's face on it that I didn't honestly know existed until I heard about that she died. Because I don't know anything she's done, and no disrespect to her in any way, but I don't really want things with someone's face on it that I've never even heard of before. So it just seems like this box is more focused on Stan Lee himself and things in his personal life, when I think it should focus more on his things that he's done in his work life, things that he's done on the creative side. So it's kind of gotten to a weird direction. Another thing we got in there was some socks that were exclusive, but they're just the most plain socks I've ever seen in my life. It's just a sock with stripes on it, and I'm glad it's exclusive, but there's nothing special about it. It just is socks that looks like something that Stan Lee might wear, I guess, but there was just really nothing special about it. So like I said, I'm glad it's exclusive, but some of the things they picked in there, it might as well have not been exclusive. I'd rather have something non-exclusive that was of better quality than some of the things they picked. So I don't think this box is going to stick around. I think it's had enough chances, because the thing I was saying, I just don't want a bunch of shit with his face on it. I love Stan Lee, but I don't want to wake up in the morning and see his face on every corner of my house. Like, that's too much of one person's face. I don't think there's anyone out there that I love that much where I want his face on every single thing. Like, I know religious people that have, like, Jesus on less items than I have Stan Lee stuff. Like, it's just too much of one person's face. So if they're listening, my advice to this company is focus more on his career, focus more on the things he's created, and curated, that's all cool, and less of one person's personal life. And I'm sure there are some people that maybe are that obsessed with Stan Lee, where they want his face on all these things, and they want things from his personal life. If that's you, then hey, go for it. This is the box that's totally for you. But if I'm speaking for the general population, which is what I always try to do in my ratings, I think most people appreciate Stan Lee for what he's done and not things in his personal life. Just like you guys watching me on this channel. You watch my channel because of the content I create, because of the boxes and things and the information I show. You're not going to want to see pictures of me taking a dump later, because it's like you just don't care what I'm doing in that much of my personal life. So you care more about what I'm creating and the content. So that's the advice I give for this box. What? Give me weird looks. Pup's excited. So yeah, that was the problem with it. So again, let me just reiterate, it's not that this is a bad box, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just for the amount that you're paying, it just doesn't seem like it's going to fit for everyone. The problem's the same, it's just always been too expensive. If this were a much cheaper box like Loot Crate and it was only 20 bucks, I wouldn't care if his wife was on it, I wouldn't care if his face were on it, because it's really cheap and it wouldn't matter. But when you're risking $50 for that box, you really want stuff that's a little more collectible, a little more rare, a little more special to that box, and not just some random socks with just some stripes on them. I'm not paying that much money for random socks that I could get for $1. So, no offense to him, but I will probably pass. The next one, number 5, Nerd Block Classic. So, interesting story about Nerd Block, and I actually don't have all the info yet. I've heard a lot of murmurings and rumors about it, but I heard from someone that knows someone in the company, and they told me they heard that Nerd Block is filing for bankruptcy. Now, I don't really know the full story, and this box wasn't showing up, and I actually got a refund on one of the charges that they charged to my account, so I thought, okay, maybe this box is going out of business. Then they just recently put a post on Facebook like 2 days ago, and they said, posted saying they apologize for not communicating, but big changes are coming in the future. I don't know what that means. That could mean they're going out of business. That could be the big change. Or it could mean that they did file for bankruptcy and maybe they got bought out by someone. So they've given no information on it, but either way, it doesn't really seem good. It doesn't seem like a good change. It doesn't seem like something positive because they kind of just disappeared on a whim. Their site has been down for a long time. Said it's been under maintenance, but no one really knows what that means. It just, the sequence of events, it just doesn't look like a positive thing. It doesn't look like a surprise where they're going to come back and be an amazing company. It seems like they're struggling. That's kind of what it seems like. And it has seemed like that for the past probably year. They've been slowly declining, getting less and less. They've been stretching themselves too thin. The quality's been going down. The items have been going down. Everyone knows the last month's boxes shipped extremely late, so I'm sure they lost a bunch of customers because of that. And you know, it's really sad to see these companies that have been around for so long that were really big companies. So in one sense of the word, it's really surprising to see, but in the same sense, it's not surprising to see. It's surprising in the sense that they've been around so long and they've been growing bigger and bigger and coming out with new boxes all the time. So it's kind of weird to see a company all of a sudden just kind of die out like that. So it's surprising, but at the same time not so surprising, because like I said in the beginning, the collectible market is on the decline in a major way right now. There are too many companies out there, Funko specifically, that are putting out too many collectibles and they're flooding the market right now. The same thing happened back in the 90s with collectibles, with cards, with all those things. It got really popular for a while, and then everyone wanted to get in on the business. They completely flooded the market with all this stuff, and then all of a sudden everything became worthless. Like everyone knows, like trading cards from the 90s, you can still buy those cards full series to this day for pennies on the dollar because there were just millions of them made and not enough people to buy them. The same thing is happening with the collectible market, and the same thing is happening with the subscription box market. There's too many people trying to put out too many products, and there just aren't enough people with enough money to get all these products. So all of a sudden the market is flooded, and now these companies have to file for bankruptcy because they can't support themselves. And you're going to see that with a lot of collectible companies in general. So it was really on a high end right now, and the same thing with like comic books or Comic-Con stuff. A lot of them is just not selling for as high as it was. So we're definitely on the decline, and very soon you're going to see everything kind of die off very quickly. And things like these boxes, things like Funko are going to kind of fade away for a little while. So it's not that surprising to see even big companies kind of lose out on it because there's just too much. There's too much out there, and it's hard for them to make a profit. So back to this specific box, I'm not sure what the story is. I was surprised that this showed up on my doorstep. I wasn't expecting it at all, and I haven't heard anything about Comic Blog. It may still be coming, but it comes so late it's hard to tell, so I'm not entirely sure. So only time will tell, but my guess is it's not something good. Best case scenario that they probably are either getting bought out by someone else or they're going under new management, something like that, but it just doesn't seem like a good thing. I would be shocked if the company went completely out of business because they also own Shirt Punch, and they're pretty successful. The guy, Russ Montague, I've talked to him personally, and he's a pretty good businessman, so I'd be pretty shocked if the whole entire company went under. It may just be this one branch. So enough about that, but this specific box was just okay. It's just, there was good stuff in here. We got a little lunch pail, and we got a little Predator from Mini Mates, and we got an umbrella and a shirt, so everything was fine. There was nothing super amazing, nothing super special, but it wasn't horrible either. It was just kind of a general eclectic stuff, just like this box usually is. So it did a decent job, but it's just nothing surprising or special anymore. You get decent value, you get a decent amount of stuff, and it's just kind of general stuff, but it's a lot of generic things, like things that we've seen so many times before, and things that anyone getting these subscription boxes probably has a million of, so it's just overly generic stuff. But it's still there, it's just, I think it's having a hard time finding a specific niche in the market now. So many of these boxes have things that they're specifically good at, and this one, it just doesn't really stand out as much anymore. And it's not horribly expensive. It's 30 bucks for a box. It's not super cheap either. So I think that's why they're struggling, is because they're having trouble keeping people's attention and keeping customers, because this company has like zero customer loyalty. There's nothing, there's a referral program they have, but it's terrible. It like barely works, and they've always done things where they don't really respect customers that have been around for a long time, and that's really a shame. And I think they're seeing the side effects of that now, because their longtime customers are now leaving because they had no respect for those people. But anyway, so we'll see what happens to the Nerd Block company. Your guess is as good as mine, but I don't really have too much high hopes for that. Alright, moving on. Number 4. This is the Star Wars Smuggler's Bounty. Now, this one is pretty common too. We usually get 2 pops, a shirt, patch pin, and then 1 other item. We didn't get that other item this time around, or maybe I didn't get it. I wouldn't know though, because there's no description card in there. So many boxes are leaving out their description cards now, and I kind of hate that. Boxes used to not carry them, and then everyone started to, and it's good because you now know if you're missing an item. I very well could have been owed another item. I have no idea. So I'd have to look it up, but this one I've been meaning to cancel. I just haven't got around to it. Like I've said a million times before, this is more for the hardcore fan. We get some more obscure characters in there. The pop figures, we got C-3PO, that was like an alternate one, which was cool. And then we got another one of the droids that was seen a little bit, but not that popular. So they're kind of filtering through a lot of the characters. I'm sure it'll pick back up again with the new movie, but it's just never been that impressive. If you're a hardcore Star Wars fan and you love every collectible they have and you want to collect all the pop figures, then yeah, go for it. If you're more like me where you like Star Wars but you're just a casual fan, it's probably not the best for you. It's not that it's not worth it. You still get decent value on it, and everything in there is exclusive, which is cool, but you only have so much space at a certain point, and I really don't have room for those really obscure characters that only appeared like one time in one movie or something like that. So it's just not so much for me, and it may not be for everyone, but if you're that hardcore fan, definitely check it out. Not much more to say about it. It's been, since day one, it's been pretty common. The only variable they give is sometimes they'll add the deluxe pops in there, which are cool. I like those, but other than that, I really wouldn't go out of my way for it. I would just buy those specific ones as they go on eBay or something like that. So there you go. Smuggler's Bounty, Star Wars. Alright, already down to the halfway point. Let's see what we got. I can reach it. Number 3 is the BAM box. And this one's always right around that center region. I personally have always liked it, and I feel like they have a specialty. Their specialty is like autograph things. That's what they're good at, and artwork. They've done it better than any other box out there, so that's why I think this company is staying afloat, is because they have a specific interest. They have things that they specialize in that no other box is doing. So that way people are still coming back and they're having return customers. They always also have really good pins. They have really good pins that they do, and they usually have 3 options. And, you know, they really could spread those pins out, like most boxes, but they always have more options, and they have rarer pins in there. So there's a lot of them out there collecting. They're usually very good quality. The rest of the stuff in there is usually prop replicas and things like that. Like we got dog tags in there from Wolverine, which we've seen in a bunch of boxes before. A patch, which I actually didn't get. It didn't show up in my box. And then some Harry Potter patches, which were really good quality, actually. They're actually on leather and things like that, so they're very nice in quality. But it's usually somewhat kind of prop replicas like that. The signature we got was from Greg Sipes, who's Beast Boy on Teen Titans. And you may recognize his voice because I believe he's also Michelangelo on the Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles show. And he's also done a lot of acting too, so he's actually pretty well known. I like him as a voice actor, so I was pretty happy to see his signature in there. The good news is the signatures are usually always from someone at least that's like known, usually not super well known, but someone that's a collector and like a nerd fanboy would definitely recognize the characters they voice for. And then the artwork in there, it's always by really lesser known artists. But the artwork's usually pretty good, and the good thing is it's always signed a number, which gives it some value. The problem is the same thing a lot of these other boxes have. It's getting very popular now, and the more they put out there, the less valuable it is. So the more boxes they have, the less famous they can get for someone to sign all those autographs, because no one super famous is going to sign 10,000 autographs. And then same with the artwork, same exact thing. It's just it's hard for them to get someone really famous when they're putting out so many boxes. So the more they put out, the less value they get. But I've always liked this box. It's always been one of my personal favorites, but it's kind of hit or miss if you're going to like the signature or the artwork, because it's hard to tell who's going to show up. But it's always, I think, worth it in my opinion, and I think it's very special in the sense it has a lot of nostalgia value, and you get things that are actually hand-signed by people that you know and love, so I really like that about it. So I think you can't really go wrong with this one. I've never really been disappointed, personally, but it's just not necessarily for everyone, and I've heard a lot of people's complaints about here and there, so it's kind of just depends on your personal tastes and opinions. If you do like the personalized stuff and you do appreciate artwork, definitely check it out. Otherwise, it just kind of depends. And they always have special things where you can pay more and get other people's autographs. And sometimes it's worth it, but sometimes it's pretty expensive, so it just kind of depends. But yeah, it usually always shows up right around the middle. It's always worth it to me, but it just depends on your personal taste. So there we go. Number 2 was Legion of Collectors. So we got a classic 90s animated series Batman box, and I actually really like this one. I liked a lot of items in here. We got a good mix of stuff. I really like the t-shirt too. So it was like a pop version of like the 90s Batman little animated series logo, which I thought was really cool. And then we got a little Dorbs ride in there from Batman, which was cool too. Mr. Freeze Pop, patch and pin, and a comic. So I thought it was very a good eclectic mix of things, and they got a bunch of different characters, so it wasn't all Batman. We got some of the villains in there too. So overall, I think they did a pretty good job on this box. And I like that it wasn't just 2 pop figures. I like that they actually mixed it up and gave you some different ones, and the quality on them was pretty nice too. Again, nothing in there was like specifically amazing, but I thought they did a pretty decent job on it. And the fact that we got a ride and a pop figure and the t-shirt was cool too. Because usually when they do the pop ride, it's usually something smaller, but it seems like we got a lot of stuff in this box, and it had good value. And everyone loved the 90s animated series of Batman, so I thought that was a good choice. And this box kind of depends too. It depends on what character they get. But luckily they announce it beforehand, so you know if you're gonna like it or not. And it usually always gives decent value, and everything in here is 100% exclusive. So it's definitely not always high on the countdown. It's kind of hit and miss sometimes, but you at least get an idea of what you're gonna get because they announce it beforehand. So that's the good news about it. And this one I liked. And it got higher on the countdown mostly because there just wasn't much competition this month. There wasn't many other good boxes out there. So that's number 2. Then we got number 1, which was Loot Crate. And this one wasn't particularly amazing either. It just, again, kind of got number 1 by default because there just wasn't much better out there. There wasn't anything that was better than it. It wasn't like amazingly the best box this month. There just wasn't anything else that outdid it. Like I said, this month was kind of disappointing in the sense that none of them did that great. I really love the t-shirt design. I love this kind of like offset logo they did. I always like shirts like that because I always get bored of like the shirts that just have a logo like dead center. They're fine, but I like it when they mix it up a little. So I thought the t-shirt was really cool. They did a good job. One of their main items was kind of weird though. They did, from Bob's Burgers, they basically just did burger recipes. It had really good presentation. It came in this really nice little package, and they're on like nice cardstock. So the presentation of it was really nice, but at the end of the day, it's just recipes. Like it's hard to give value to something like that when you can honestly go on Google and just look up recipes. That's why I can't imagine recipe books selling that much these days at all, because there's just so many out there that you can look up for free. It's just a weird concept like that. So Pup's making weird noises. Sorry. So it's just a weird concept in the sense that it's hard to sell something that's so easily gotten for free out there. It came in a really cool box, but it's just a kind of a weird thing that I can't imagine a lot of people seeking out. I'm even a fan of Bob's Burgers. I like the show too, but it's weird to want like specific recipes that are just printed out versus just going online and looking them up. So that one was kind of an odd one. And let's see what else we get in here. And we got some koozies from Futurama, which were like, okay, nothing special there. But the good news about this box is just so damn cheap. And we actually got an exclusive figure from Rick and Morty, which I thought was really funny because he's giving the finger. And I was surprised they put it in there because I know kids get this box too. But you know, they put it in there, which is really awesome. So that was really cool. I like that they got an exclusive figure. That's really awesome. And I know Rick and Morty's a really popular show right now. There are a lot of fans of that show. So the cool thing about this box is just so damn cheap, it's hard to go wrong. The figure itself pretty much made the box worth it. The t-shirt was cool, and the others were just kind of filler, like I said, the recipe and the koozie. Nothing really special, but it's not like it really cost you anything extra, so it wasn't that big a deal. So this box is so cheap that it just really is hard to go wrong with it. So that's why it gets the #1 spot. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So keeping it pretty short. We only had the 6 boxes, and hopefully if I have some time when Lukaku shows up, I'll be able to do a review of that. It's Game of Thrones themed, and Game of Thrones has been done a lot, even by that company, so I'm not super thrilled about it just because it's been done so many times. It's just not that exciting anymore. And Comic Blog has never been exciting, or hasn't been in a very long time. So if it shows up at all, it may not. Who knows if the company's bankrupt or not. We will find out in the near future. But I will give you guys updates, and you'll see me at the very least on the next monthly review. So I hope this helped you in some way. Let me know if you guys have any questions, if you need help finding a box, if there's something you want to see reviewed, or if there's something you want to see in the future. Always let me know in the comments. I read them all, so feel free to express anything there. In the meantime, thank you all for watching and supporting. I hope to do more videos in the future. I hope to keep you guys updated on a lot of things. And if there's anything you want to see, let me know. In the meantime, thank you all for watching. See you on the next video. Love you all. Peace.